spit till I suffocate, very quick to agitate, concentrate till I rate, I'm irate, in a state, my confidence is a trait, success is my motherfucking fate.
I love video games. I think most of us here do. They provide us with a means to experience things that might not be possible without the medium. They're great, and I think for a lot of us they're an immersive and interactive medium to lose yourself in. And branching off this are the reasons why we decide to enter into these digital worlds. Well, one of them is via a pure release of frustration and cathartic energy. Metal Gear Rising Revengence was one of these games. Catharsis is the process of releasing and thereby providing relief from strong or repressed emotions. To me, the whole game was an avenue for this. I'd say it's as simple as the monotony of civilization or normal life. Having to be micromanaged by corporations and governments that have more power than you do. It's having that beast inside of you tamed for the sake of social etiquette and conforming to societal norms which we are never really given the choice to opt out of or even break away from. We just don't have that power as individuals. Unless, you decide to go off into a forest and live that sort of lifestyle, Mr. Fantastic style. Everything in Metal Gear Rising oozes this concept, from its themes of breaking away from the collective consciousness to fighting against corrupt systems and regimes, and especially those that benefit from war and openly spout about the benefits of war economically. I'm looking at you, Senator Armstrong. These provide that power fantasy of being that one man that overcomes insurmountable odds. The same way that the odds are against you in the real world, it's a sense of freedom. You're Raiden, a cybernetic ninja tasked with gaining revenge on a man that nearly killed you and stopping a new world order in the process. The combat is flashy, hard-hitting and precise, where you literally rip your enemies to shreds at the exact places that you choose. You can pull off cool shit without even needing to be great at the game, but it's still a challenge, kind of like another incredible game, Ninja Gaiden Stigma 2. And since the game is only 6 or so hours long, I'd say it's a short, intense cinematic experience of pure action and philosophical conflict. And I'd say a huge chunk of that is thanks to Metal Gear Rising's music. It's so good. It's one of my favorite soundtracks of a game of all time. And I can safely say without a shadow of a doubt, hands down, any other sort of superlative, that the soundtrack, that I've never listened to a soundtrack more than I have of Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Maybe Persona 5 or 4, very close, but no. Number 1. So every word to every song, and I could make a video on the Metal Gear Rising Revengeance's music by itself if I wanted to, but I probably won't, but I could if I wanted to, if I tried. Each track has a very intense vibe, one of strong like testosterone, and one of those feelings where you get your own new personal best at the gym. You just feel completely and utterly hyped. Anyway, where were we? Even without the crazy inspiring lyrics, the instrumentals alone are enough to get you pumped and hyped. My personal favourites are Rules of Nature, Stranger I Remain, and Collective Consciousness. The latter of which fits well with the game's theme of government control and politics, where war is prevalent, how it can benefit the economy at the cost of human life. Each song that plays tells you something about the boss that you are fighting at the time. One of my favourite examples of it being Blade Wolf and his song I'm My Own Master Now. Blade Wolf being an extremely intelligent cyberdog capable of eliciting emotions and even unleashing advanced weaponry. Due to Desperado's programming, he was unable to be free, as he would lose his memories if he acted against his programmed orders. Blade Wolf always yearned to be free, and thanks to Raiden and Maverick, he is. He never wanted to fight Raiden in the first place, he only did so out of self-preservation. And the lyrics of I'm My Own Master Now are like this. These clearly speak of breaking free from captivity and becoming your own master, literally. The amazing thing is that you can pretty much do this for all the boss battle themes, and they all have some kind of deep philosophical message with very cathartic undertones. I love this soundtrack with a passion, and it's one of the main reasons why I go back to play the game and hear them strategically play during boss fights. I say strategically because when key moments are I say strategically because when key moments occur in the game, the tracks will hype up and speed up at the exact right time, and the tracks will cleverly loop until you reach those points. The game literally knows when you're about to pull off some crazy shit. Though the game is much deeper than this, and there's a great overarching theme of purpose. This is highlighted early on in the game when Raiden gets cut up by Jetstream Sam.
Now I see. You deny your weapon its purpose.
Like, what does that mean? I mean, he's still using the sword, so how is he denying its true purpose? What he is referring to is how Raiden uses the sword. He does not use it to defeat with the intent to kill, or even for the thrill of the hunt, like other characters in the game. Like Desperado, who literally lives for the thrill of the hunt. Raiden is different though. He views power and his sword as a deterrent, means of preventing conflict by having the power at his disposal. More of a reactionary tactic. For him, the way of the warrior is not his true calling, as he's gone down that road before and he sees how it ends. Raiden is idealistic and self-righteous, claiming that his sword is a tool for justice. With this in mind, Raiden tries to depersonalize the people that he kills, as in his mind, those people choosing to do that job have already sold their soul morally, and he is simply just the Grim Reaper coming to collect those souls, collect those bodies and people. And they've sold their souls by killing innocent civilians. For a while, this philosophy works for Raiden. He managed to beat Mistral too, who finds meaning and purpose through war, until he starts to hear the voices and the thoughts of those he kills, leading him to have a breakdown. The game provides interesting reasons for the benefits of war. For example, technological advancement, an increase in jobs, and literally unifying the nation. With this philosophy though, only the strong will survive, and this perfectly aligns with the philosophy of the main antagonist of the game, Senator Armstrong, with his very social Darwinist viewpoint and perspective. I did my own research into the effects of war, and while some of the arguments that characters in the game propose hold some sort of merit on an individual and nationalistic sense, I'd say that the cons far outweigh the pros. The damage from war stretches far beyond the immediate death and psychological trauma for those involved. From an infrastructural perspective, war destroys buildings, roads, and energy supply lines being cut, like electricity, water, sewage, etc. As a consequence, the economy suffers. Not having working physical infrastructure means that society cannot run as effectively and even slow down to the point of a recession. This is a result of disruptions to things like the education system, the healthcare system, imports and exports from foreign nations, and employment. In a war-torn nation, a prosperous future is pretty far away, since the resources are spent managing the damages of war and trying to recover from that. This deficit leads to less children getting an education, businesses shutting down due to less revenue, less available health services due to the increased demand for mental and physical health ailments, since obviously the demand will be a lot higher. Sorry about that. The only way that these issues would be mitigated is by having war being a constant, the status quo for the world. This is a world which some characters in Metal Gear Rising Revengence find purpose, through being free to fight in a world of anarchy. This begs the question though, which the game seems to ask and simultaneously answer: how much freedom is truly necessary to be free? Not just for some, but for everyone, the weak and the strong. This is the reason why we have laws and regulations, to keep everyone safe and protected from those who have more power. It is illegal to kill. This in theory keeps killers at bay and innocents safe due to the threat of repercussions for this type of misconduct. In this way, the law is the power which acts as a deterrent in congruence with Raiden's philosophy. But can a country be too lawful in denying those with power and strength an avenue to express it, and for some would claim to be their birthright? I feel like the movie Fight Club deals with this concept very well, providing an example of what it means to really let out your inner beast and, in some ways, masculinity, right? Can a world of anarchy lead to ultimate freedom? If this is the case, then is ultimate freedom even worth pursuing? A lot of questions, but unfortunately, not enough answers. Through Raiden and the cathartic atmosphere created by Metal Gear Rising's gameplay, themes, and soundtrack, we can experience what it's like to have this kind of freedom. But if kept unchecked, like Raiden, we can become mad with power and succumb to our innate drives. And if we all live like this, we'd really become civilians of the world that Senator Armstrong envisioned, a world of anarchy and chaos, a world where the strong would dominate the weak, a survival of the fittest. That being said though, we still need to manifest that strength if the system turns against us, and remain critical and skeptical of the intentions of those who run our country, but in a more individual sense, to be more than what we are. So, I've been Sir Lance, hope you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you soon.
Adrenaline pumping through my veins, now I'm feeling the thrill. Call me Itachi, you won't see me, Tsukuyomi. Underline